Escape from Tarkov today isn't the same game that hooked me years ago. Tarkov has been a part of my life now for years. I've loved it, raged at it.
What? Who threw a grenade at me?
Celebrated epic wins. And endured brutal losses.
Gavs, man, why are they like so OP at the moment?
For long-time viewers, you know that this channel started on and was all about Escape from Tarkov. And today this is going to be more of a chat about why I'm taking a big step back, not leaving, but just taking a big step back from Tarkov. Starting off with my first point, which is, where the hell is everyone? On each wipe, the game is full of life for the first month or two. Everyone is excited, the servers are jam-packed, and you can feel the tension every raid. Those early wipe days are some of the best moments in Tarkov. It's alive, it's unpredictable, and the players are hungry for loot and hungry for kills. That kind of experience is what keeps us coming back. But as soon as we're past that first month or two, everything changes. You'll notice that the game starts to feel quieter and quieter as it almost slows down to a crawl. The raids start to feel empty. You'll load into raids and find fewer and fewer players who actually want to engage. Instead of intense firefights, it's just quiet. I have full raids on customs run into all the hot areas like dorms and stronghold and somehow see or hear nothing. The game just feels hollow, and that's part of the huge reason what killed the excitement for me. As a content creator, I still played it regardless just to make video for you guys, and generally people like to see action or challenges, not just be walking around ghost towns. Sometimes it takes me around 3 hours to find a raid with more than 2 people to fight. So especially as a content creator, I need to branch out to other games, and I'm sure it's just as bland playing empty raids for people who don't want to make content. That brings me to my second point, which is what Tarkov was and what people loved about it initially is not what the devs created the game for. The vast majority of people probably started playing Tarkov in its first initial boom when huge streamers like the likes of Shroud, Summit and Hutch started playing. Tarkov was a very different game then. Firstly, since Tarkov is an extraction looter shooter, let's talk about loot. Over the years, loot spawns have become more scarce, and the rewards of being first to dorms, resort, red room on labs just aren't worth it anymore. I'm not the only one who's noticed this either. Where there's less to gain, there's less incentive to take any risks. We're all kind of just tiptoeing around now. Because of these changes, PvP is more a case of just one-tapping somebody out of nowhere or getting one-tapped out of nowhere yourself. People are no longer rushing to hot zones or going after each other for valuable loot. They're just avoiding fights, sticking to safer routes, and honestly it's just led to much quieter, emptier Tarkov. The PvP that made Tarkov so thrilling is kind of just gone. And I know a lot of people do enjoy the slower playstyle where you can camp and catch people off guard, which I don't have an issue with at all. But the people you usually end up camping are more of the chads who like to run around, and if their part of the game is being killed off, they don't enjoy it, which will lead them to stop playing, which means people who like to play slow and camp don't have anybody to camp anymore. So I hope you catch my drift with this point. Thirdly, let's talk about game pace. One of the biggest issues with Tarkov right now is the sound. It's almost as if the game punishes you just for moving. Footsteps are so loud where you can hear people from over 50 meters away sometimes. This leads to a who hears who first situation, where it's often just a matter of waiting for somebody to make the slightest noise before you can pinpoint their exact location, wait for them to walk into your line of sight, and then take them out. Footsteps, rustling through bushes, all of these sounds travel far beyond what feels reasonable. People hear footsteps, freeze up and turtle down to avoid giving away their own position. You end up with a lot of players just sitting still, waiting for each other to see who has more patience. And sometimes it's not even a game of patience. Some people just don't have the time or effort in their lives to care about waiting 15 minutes for the other guy to move. It's right to have this kind of encounter in some situations, but when it becomes every PvP fight ever, it's just plain boring. And it gets worse with weight. The heavier your character is, the louder you are. And in a game that's supposed to be a looter shooter where you're rewarded for scavenging and gearing up, this just feels backwards. It's almost like Tarkov punishes you for playing the way the game is meant to be played. Tarkov is a good game. This video isn't about how bad it is. It's intense, it's unique, and it's given me some incredible experiences over the years. But if I'm being totally honest, right now I think I've just had my fill for it for late wipe. Lately I've been diving into other games like Squad, Insurgency, and it's been a breath of fresh air.
Let's go back. Yeah, I'm good. Oh yeah, they definitely.
The top 10 the creepiest moments of life. Oh, what the?
Sniper again.
Oh no, I need to reload!
He's dead.
Don't die on me now. I need you to cover my back.
Tree. Oh my god, I was trying not to kill this.
Enemies attacking Maroon.
Yeah, they've got to have
He's
some.
doing so well.
Got 3 left. They gonna make it, man.
I've been having a lot of fun on Squad. The communication and teamwork on there is like nothing else I've ever played before. If you haven't played it, I really suggest you give it a go. And Insurgency has this raw, gritty combat that kind of reminds me how Tarkov played, but without all the grind. Every match feels intense and it's action-packed in a way that makes it feel like I'm not missing out on any PvP experience. Then there's Body Cam, which has this unique, almost cinematic style that I haven't really experienced anywhere else. Each game has been enjoyable in its own way, letting me rediscover the thrill of playing something new and unpredictable. Tarkov will always have a place in my library, but right now, exploring these other games has reignited my passion for gaming. So what does this all mean and hold for the future for Escape from Tarkov? Well, it's complicated. If they wanted to bring back the fun for mid and late wipe, I think there's quite a lot they could do. It's doubtful any big changes to mechanics like sound, loot, or movement will come anytime soon, if at all, because maybe the devs are happy with it. But things like increasing the boss spawns to a high percentage like 50%, which would make raids a lot more vibrant. Also maybe step up the loot because some of them really have lackluster loot for endgame wipe. Maybe even add community event tasks, like for example once a week where you have to kill a boss 25 times where they have a higher spawn chance on that specific map. This would make it so every week has a different map or area that's a hotspot that will rotate each week. Stuff like this will make Tarkov far more unique and enjoyable, and in my opinion it won't adjust any major mechanics. So on one hand, it's clear that the devs are dedicated to building the game the way they envisioned it, and they've been adding intricate mechanics and constant updates that aim to push Tarkov closer to that vision. And that's one of the reasons Tarkov has kept such a loyal community for so long. It's challenging, it's punishing, and in its best moments it feels like nothing else out there. But at the same time, I worry Tarkov has been straying away from aspects that originally drew players in. It's almost like Tarkov is stuck between being an intense shooter and a tactical survival sim, and it's hard to tell which direction will end up going. For Tarkov to have a thriving future, it needs to find a nice balance, keeping the hardcore survival elements while still allowing for that intense, fast-paced PvP that a large portion of people miss. The community loves the game and they want to see it succeed, but if things keep going the way they are, Tarkov might turn into a game that caters to an even more niche of a crowd that will always have players enraged, but less excitement overall. I'd love to see Tarkov evolve in a way that brings back the early wipe and keeps the players engaged all the way through. If the developers can find that balance, there's no doubt that Tarkov will continue to be a game that stands out in the genre. But personally, I feel like Tarkov has peaked in its popularity for now. We'll see how the 1.0 release goes, because that will undoubtedly bring back a lot of people and draw a lot of attention, not to mention the big changes that will come with it. This of course is my own personal opinion, so feel free to voice your own opinions down in the comments below, whether you agree, disagree, or think something completely different. That's all I have for you today. The next video will be on another realistic milsim game, so if you don't want to miss that, make sure you're sub with notifications on. I appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Thank you.